Share my screen. My slide gives it away. Tells everybody who you are. All right, so this is week 3 of our Biz Mastery program. Welcome back, everyone. We're super excited to talk to you about prospecting tonight. I'm even more excited because I have one of my good friends all the way from Florida on to chat with us. Just before we get into that, kind of figure out why we're talking about prospecting. I think, what does prospecting even mean? What are we referring to here? Prospecting is basically just meeting friends, making new relationships, finding people. It's, with doTERRA, it's going to be any of your warm leads, cold contacts, customers, people who can be potential class hosts, builders, any of that. All those people are all prospects, right? So I'm super excited that Catherine's going to jump in and talk to us about this. She's a gold leader. She's on the Whole Fit team. So you may have seen her posting in Anja's group once in a while. I've met Catherine a few times at different doTERRA events. The first one was Leadership of last year. We were in Orlando, and Kyle and Catherine are from Florida. So for them, it's not very far to go to Leadership in Orlando.
No.
They're from Sarasota, though. How far is that away from Orlando? Like 2 hours?
Yeah, we can make it under 2 hours.
Yeah.
But right about 2.
Not too far.
Don't tell your husband.
That's our running joke. Catherine's married to a firefighter, and I'm married to a police officer, and they basically bonded over making fun of each other. So that's a long-standing thing with police officers and firefighters.
Yeah.
So if I could describe Catherine in one word, it would be authentic. And I found this. I was creeping your Facebook for a cute picture of you.
Oh, cool.
I found this really nice post. Somebody posted this on Catherine's timeline, and I read it, and I was like, this is perfect for our call, and totally pumps up the kind of person that she is, and also how perfect she is to speak on this topic. So I'll just read it to you quick. So this is I took out the person's name of who posted this, but this is someone wrote this to Catherine. She said, a few nights ago, I posted about oils and wanted more info because number 1, I'm addicted. Number 2, I was feeling overwhelmed. I received many comments, messages, and even added to groups. However, this mama totally stood out to me. Catherine Kerrigan messaged me and asked all the right questions to find out why I needed and wanted oils. There was zero pressure, and she responded in a timely manner. I am now sold on her. Her, you see, because she wanted to know about me. So while you think that mamas that do their hustle online are only out there for themselves, let me tell you that this is not the case. Mamas like Catherine are out there. Just be open, have them help you, because isn't that what we are all here to do, help each other? Isn't that so nice of someone to write to her?
I know, I couldn't even believe it. I didn't even pay her or anything to do that, I was surprised with it, actually.
It's so nice that she went out of her way to say that. And publicly, like, I think when other people see that, then they'll be drawn to you too and think, okay, what is it about this girl that's different? And I want to be helped like that, right? So hopefully it drummed up a bunch of leads for you.
Yeah, it did, actually. A lot of referrals came from that.
Amazing.
It was awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so I'm going to stop screen sharing. I don't know if you have a presentation or not. You're totally welcome to take over my screen if you want to. Otherwise, just chat away.
I guess I could have done that, but no, I'll just share. Well, and I'll lead with that because that was, like I said, it was a surprise to me that this girl went out of her way to do all that. And I'll give you the backstory just so you can see how, reaching outside your network sometimes is really simple, just paying attention to kind of what's going on with everybody, and just taking the time to serve them and serve your community that's right there at your fingertips on social media. But I don't know this woman personally. She's actually a friend of a friend. So this friend of mine tagged me on the post when she was asking about essential oils. And so I reached out to her and just said, hey, love to chat with you. And I noticed immediately she got bombarded. Can you guys see me okay? Stuff good?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, she immediately got bombarded with tons and tons of posts from people, you know, with other essential oil companies or just with their own preferences and that kind of thing. So I just messaged her, I'll send you a PM or private message, and left it strictly as thinking in terms of service and how can I help her, and just asking, you know, what she wanted to use essential oils for, what her background was, and just that I love doTERRA, and I've been using doTERRA now for over 2 years, and you know, how could I help her? And so, you know, I even included a PS. I see your feed is totally blowing up. And I was just very excited that she gave me a shot, because there was a lot of people, you know, kind of, it started like almost bashing companies. Not so much doTERRA bashing other companies, but it was kind of the other way around. And I just stayed out of it because I ignore any sort of negativity like that, especially online. So it was nice that it kind of led up to what it did. She ended up enrolling. And then she did a Facebook Live on her kit that came in on her personal page. So you just never know. Sometimes reaching out to one person opens a multitude of doors. So it's really nice to put yourself out there and connect with people, because you just never know. Sometimes it just takes that one person, and then you meet just a dozen other people, and it just continues to just grow and grow. Something I was talking to Yolanda about is, you know, starting this business, my personal network was rather small. A little bit background about me, you know, without doTERRA, I was a school teacher. I taught middle school, decided to take a childcare leave to be at home with my 3 kids. And so I have 3 very young kids. I've got a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and now a 17-month-old. And sometimes it's a struggle just to leave the house. I mean, let's be real. So in deciding to do doTERRA, it never really put me off that my network was kind of small being at home. And, you know, I had some mom friends, and but it wasn't like I was active in the community doing all kinds of things. So I never really started this business with a very large network, is what I'm saying. So I feel like if you reach out, put yourself out there a little bit along the way, it really, it comes back to you. So I have some notes here. I'm just going to kind of roll with that. And Yolanda touched upon that this is a relationship business. And when we are connecting with other people and sampling with other people, it really is all about building that relationship and that trust with them. If somebody feels like you're just trying to sell them, and I feel like that's kind of it's a fear for a lot of people. Nobody wants to come across salesy. Nobody wants to, a lot of people will tell me in doing this business, I don't know if I can do this business because I don't want to sell, you know? And what you need to realize, if you kind of feel that way, then, and this is what I tell my team, I'm like, then don't sell, just build that relationship, build that trust, and share from your heart, and look toward service more and how you can help them, how these oils can help them and their families, and just keep that on your mindset. It's not always about that enrollment. You know what I'm saying? It's more about what the oils can do for them, and really just meeting them right where they're at. I've met people in, you know, like a gas station parking lot because their child was really sick, and you know, they wanted to like go to the store. The store was closed, and they were going to get oils there. I'm like, no, don't do that. You know, let's try doTERRA. I'll meet you. And they lived far away, and so we just kind of met in the middle. And I remember it being late. My kids were in bed, and you know, so you really think about that other person, and it's amazing what it does though for your business, because people get that you're not just trying to sell them, that you really care, and that's really big. I feel. Yolanda, what do you think? Do you find that too?
100%. I think if you get caught up in the sales and the goal, that it almost takes away from that natural organic building. I'm not saying to never go for a goal, because we definitely love the pushing and the excitement there.
Right.
But, sometimes you can be pushing and you're having a lot of no's, right? It's not happening, it's not going. But those authentic relationships, nothing's going to shake that. Nothing's going to change that. That's
right.
what really draws people to you and your business. And it sometimes ends in referrals, right? They don't get other people excited, like, oh, you got to connect with my girl Catherine, she's the best. And that's how it is.
Yeah, it opens a multitude of doors for sure. So I love that. Yeah. And the goals, I mean, we always have goals and they're there. And I feel like sometimes those really help to push us out of our comfort zone a little bit, and maybe connect with those people that we kind of shied away from, maybe because we thought we were going to get rejected, or I don't know, for just whatever reason, we were nervous about it. But again, if you keep that in mind of service, and you know what these oils are going to do to help their families, think about what the oils have done for you, connect back to your why, your business why, your product why, and let that drive you, because I mean, that right there is just magic. People can sense you are genuinely sharing. So I'll continue if you want. Let me continue with this. So let me see. I talked about it being a relationship business, a business to serve and meet needs. Okay, this one I really like is living in a state of attraction. And this is something that's really modeled by our upline, Ange Peters. I feel like she does a beautiful job of really living the lifestyle of essential oils, of wellness, with her family. She shows, how she's using them, recipes. Sometimes it's as simple, you guys, as you using your oils, taking a picture of it and posting it, and if you're trying to connect with other people and sample and really branch out of your network, when you're really visible, people know that you are now a resource. So think about it. I like to compare this as if you had a store, like a retail store. I'm not talking like your back office, your website, that kind of thing. But let's say you're just like selling shoes, okay? If you weren't visible and people didn't know that your store existed, would you expect to have any customers? Would you expect anybody to come to you when they needed shoes? You know what I'm saying? So think of that in the very simple business perspective to your doTERRA business. You want people to know what you're doing. You want people to know what you're up to, that you're using the oils, that you love them, and they're going to be drawn to that. So sometimes it's not even you going out there and seeking all these people, but if you put yourself out there, people are going to come to you. And isn't that nice when you get that message? Hey, I see you're into oils, tell me more about them, or, because that opens up a bunch of doors right there. You want to host a class? Can I send you some samples? The list goes on. So I love that part of it.
Yeah, I love that. So true. Like we can, on social media, we could just be posting promotions and like, here's why you need to join this month. But people get really tired of hearing that kind of stuff, right? We're bombarded with advertisements and people always trying to sell us stuff. So I think that if you focus on the lifestyle and you're just posting like, hey, my kids had this issue and I used this oil on it, you're just authentically sharing like normal people do on Facebook, right? Like just sharing your life and sharing what's going on. And that's what people like, rather than the sales pitches and all the constant pushes for volume or for whatever's going on in business. So I love that.
Yeah, thanks. I try to think about like what you would be drawn to. Yeah. What drew you into the oils? Think about it. What was it that you saw? What sparked an interest? And remember that when you're promoting yourself or marketing yourself, so to speak, because that's what it is. It's just in a very authentic way to you, because everybody uses the oils differently. You might not have kids, or you might have 5 kids. Just however you're using it. Maybe it's, green cleaning. I mean, you guys get the picture, but just really putting yourself out there and in different social medias. Don't just lean toward Facebook. Get comfortable with Instagram, because I've even had a few people contact me on Instagram and vice versa. I've reached out to people on Instagram as well. So if we're talking about contacting, expanding your network is part of that. And those are really great ways to do it. Because again, just that one person opens up a bunch of doors. So, and that, I actually had that for my next talking point. You utilize social media to expand your network. That's really important. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I've made new contacts, because I explained at the beginning that I had a small network. And everybody gets to this point, I feel like, in their business. Maybe not everybody, but the majority of us. You've kind of reached that point where you feel like you're tapped out in terms of your circle or your people, where you kind of say to yourself, oh my gosh, everybody that I know now is using doTERRA. Or at least if you haven't gotten to that point, you will. So what I want to encourage you is to take some of these examples and run with them if you ever feel like you're in that place, because there are so many people to connect with and out there that have never even heard about doTERRA, that are just waiting for you. So a couple things that I've done to really get myself out of that, I wouldn't call it a funk necessarily, but maybe a business block when you're kind of like, okay, what next? So ways that I make new contacts are, I will set myself like a personal challenge. Might be a sample challenge. Sometimes going back to the basics that we did when we were first getting started with our business is super helpful. So it might be, and again, this is something I use to motivate myself. This is definitely a business where we need to hold ourselves accountable as well. But so I might have, I know our upline, the Harrisons, they do like a 50 sample challenge from time to time, and it's awesome. But you can implement those kind of challenges with yourself, like maybe having a challenge that month that you're going to sample 30 people, and follow up with them later on. I mean, that's awesome. So really striving to reach out to people wherever you are and get out there to meet new people is part of the business. Network marketing there's a skill set that you need to learn. You're networking to meet new people, and with yourself as well. You're marketing yourself, your brand, your personal brand, and all that stuff that I know this Business Mastery will cover a lot of that stuff. I love this program that Yolanda's doing with you guys. And I've led my team through it too. And man, you guys are in for such a treat with this whole thing, because you're going to grow so much in your business. But personal sample challenges are good. But like I mentioned early on too, pay attention and listen to what others are going through. Maybe it's a friend who's struggling with their child has this allergy they can't get rid of, or they're sick. I mean, especially right now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my feed is like bombarded with just people being sick right now, and like getting so frustrated that their kids or themselves or their family they just can't get out of it. They're always catching something. Those are the people you want to reach out to and serve. Can I give you some samples of essential oils? Just give them a try. Try some Breathe, try some On Guard, simple things that would really help them. So that's a great way to make new contacts.
Catherine, when you see people in your newsfeed who are saying they're sick, how would you often reach out to them? Would you send them a private message? I find I've seen people on social media being like, you need oils in your life, contact me, tell them, and that kind of feels a little bit icky that you're right. Taking advantage of their sickness. So
I know. Yeah. It's so true. So obviously it depends on the relationship, because, we've got like close friends or people we don't really know, or, that kind of thing on our Facebook. But normally I private message them. And so I just ask what's going on. I really find out more about the situation, like how, just instead of being like, hey, you need oils, like you said, it's more what's happening, what's going on, and then offering a solution if they're open to it. And if they're open to it, it's in the mail the next day with a note, samples, and then I'm following up. So Megan had a comment in the chat if we want to.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that too. I saw a friend complaining of that today, and I feel like I'm taking advantage of her family being sick if I cold message her. Totally.
Right.
So I love that Catherine says she starts with a question and asks them how they're feeling and kind of finds out where they're at and what they're going through. And then you spend some time listening to them, and that makes a big difference from just a sales pitch. But I mean, you are a little bit taking advantage of the situation because you want to get those solutions into their home for that specific problem. But the way that you're not selling is when if it would be different if you were like, hey, do you want to buy a bottle of Breathe from me versus can I, you're not far from me. Can I drive over to your house with my bottle and you can use it until you're done with it? Like, depending how close you are with this person, or mail them a sample if they're far away, right? Makes a big difference as to serving them and helping them or offering some oils for sale.
I know. Yeah, that's a good point. And then I always think like, it really bugs me when I see people struggling like this, like they're constantly sick or their kids are constantly sick. And, I'm just like, oh, they really like this would benefit them. This would help them so much. And I'm always approaching it at that mindset, really and truly. Like that's how I lead my business. And, so when you take a double take at the situation, like really think about what it's going to do for them and their family, what these oils are going to do for them and their family. And just remember that you're offering them something very different than what a lot of people are doing in business. So even though you've noticed it, you've messaged them and connected with them, you're coming at it at a different place. And if they're like, I'm not really into oils or that kind of thing, or not open to it, no problem. If it ever changes, like I'm here, and again, the relationship makes a difference as well, because some people will trust you more than others. Like if I'm messaging an old friend from high school about it, they might be way more open to it. And it's just amazing when you come at it from a genuine place, how that relationship really blossoms from there. So if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you feel like icky, like you're selling them, maybe just kind of turn your thinking a little bit more toward how it's going to really help them and kind of getting out of your own way. And I say that, like, I say this a lot because it's in like tough love and a love space, but sometimes it's us that kind of thinks like, they're going to think this of me, or they're going to think I'm trying to sell them, when they might be completely open to it and be so grateful that you went out of your way to message them and share with them, because you didn't have to do that either. You didn't even have to pay attention to help someone, but you did. So I like that part. Something else that I try to do is, if I'm in a really stuck place, I'll reach out to social media accounts that have similar interests for contacts. So that would be simply like I know a lot of personal trainers or holistic people who are really into things that are natural or nutrition, and they're all kind of on the same wavelength of wellness, that they might not have been introduced to doTERRA. Maybe they even have some generic brands from the health food store. So if I've noticed that on their feed, I will message them and say, hey, I always start with a compliment with their account, because for one, I've been drawn to it and attracted to it because of those reasons. And then I just put myself out there and say, hey, have you tried doTERRA? So that's if you're feeling like really stuck, that's a great way to really go out on a limb, connect with some new people that way. And it's great in building relationships too. You meet a whole bunch of new people that way.
That's incredible. And may I remind everyone that is how Ange started. She had some random girl from Utah message her and compliment her on her social media presence and send her 3 oils in the mail. Lemon, lavender, and peppermint, right? You never know who's going to try. Yeah, totally. Don't be afraid.
And then Julie followed up with her. Yeah. She followed up with her like so well. So that makes all the difference.
Love, not, stalking.
Yeah. I know. Who online stalking never hurt anybody. Okay. Another way is online classes. So I was finding in my area, I was just kind of at a point, like I mentioned, where, and this probably hit me around silver, to be honest with you. I was getting to this really almost like business block stuck kind of place in terms of contacts. So I knew I had to switch it up a little bit. I got to do some different, I have to come at it in a different approach, because you constantly want to be connecting with people in different ways. But online classes, I did some Facebook classes, that kind of thing. And that just kind of helped me branch out a little bit and connect with some new people. I noticed the enrollments weren't so high from the online Facebook classes, but in terms of connecting with new people that were curious to learn more and building relationships, it was great. So that I found a great return for my time in that respect. And then that led to a lot more. I feel like more people interested in the business that way than the oils themselves. I feel like they came at it with an interest in the oils, I should say, and the business through online classes. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm curious how you follow up with all of them, because clearly you don't have like their email addresses that you can stick into a newsletter or anything. So are you putting them on a follow-up list?
Yeah.
Or just, kind of friend them on Facebook and watch their journey? Or what do you usually do if you're meeting them in?
I know. Well, I did that at the beginning. Yeah, I did that at the beginning, but it was too much. I felt like I was having an influx of like too many people I didn't really know that well. And that didn't feel real to me. Like that just didn't feel, I don't know, I couldn't keep track. It wasn't a good follow-up system for me by friending all these people from these classes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what I did is in those classes, I had a Google form that I came up with for like a draw. And from that, I collected email addresses, and that felt a little bit more comfortable. And plus I asked them questions about, what else they were interested in. Were they interested in wholesale pricing or having a class or the business? And it was interesting how many people replied that they were interested in hearing a little bit more about the business. So, yeah.
The Google form is a genius.
What's that? I know. I gotta love the Google Forms.
I love the Google Forms. And I feel like it's such a great way, because even if you're just asking them for feedback at the end of the class, you don't even have to give anything away. Just say, hey, fill out this form. And people do. They're happy to.
Yeah, it's true.
Especially if they're.
Yeah, it's a great way. And what's that?
So especially if they are after something. Like if they're wanting the products in their home or they're thinking about doing the business, they want to get in contact with you.
Exactly. So that was a great way to continue those relationships. Plus, those were the people that were really interested in paying attention, or the ones that kind of took that even 5 minutes to fill out a form. So those are the ones that are kind of worth your, I don't want to say worth your time, because that doesn't sound right. But I don't know, I guess, yeah, because you don't want to be chasing all these people that just never get back to you, and you're spending your time on all this. It's kind of a way to just filter it to people who are generally interested in the oils, and just some good solid follow-ups. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Let's see what else I had for you. I wonder what I meant by this. I wrote down, I took some great notes last night, but it was getting kind of late. This one was make a point to share what you do. I think I kind of touched upon that already. Just making sure you're visible. That was really the point. I think I was trying to drive home there, so that you're a reference and that people know what you're up to and know what you're doing.
That's great.
But also that you're involved in the business, because I've had this happen a couple times, and I don't know if you guys have experienced it so far in your business, but you might share about the oils here and there, and then it sparks their curiosity. And then they find somebody who is very visible with the business, that they're doing the business, and that, come to them if you need anything. So there's a difference, I guess, with sharing and sparking curiosity about the oils, but then also let people know that, hey, I want to be your point of contact, because if not, somebody else will, and that is the most frustrating thing when you're really trying to connect with people, build those relationships, but yet they didn't realize you were doing this as a business. So be proud of what you're doing.
I've heard that before. You've got to actually tell people that you sell the oils and not just use them. Otherwise, they won't know to come to you to purchase them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Awesome. Yeah, and then the final thing, this is the final thing, purposeful networking. And this is one actually, my upline mentor, Rebecca Leonardis, she was sharing with me, and I loved it. It's like, what is something that you really enjoy doing? get out there and do it. But maybe take, like for me, I love trying different fitness classes, whether it's like Pure Barre or like yoga or hot yoga or something. I don't know, it's just my thing. And so getting out of the house, making sure that I'm out there and connecting with new people that way. So, you know, because we can hide behind the computer all day long and try to message people, but there's something also really powerful with getting out and face-to-face contact and striking up a genuine conversation about what you're doing and, what you're about, because, you know, you can find different people to host classes for you that way. And, you know, it's not just through a message, it's face-to-face, and that's pretty powerful too.
Mm-hmm. Totally. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks so much for joining us. You're welcome to stay on for the rest of the call if you'd like to. We're going to go through. It's mostly just going through the Biz Mastery stuff and the homework, but you're welcome to stay on and pipe up if you hear anything and you're like, oh, I have something to say. Totally agree. We're around here. And I'll send you the recording for your team too.
Oh, thanks.
Cool. I'm going to share my screen again and go back to my PowerPoint, possibly. And then I will not forget what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm sure you guys have heard of Seth Risenmay and the whole concept of, are you hauling buckets or building a pipeline? So the first couple minutes of that video are really great. And so I thought we could just watch it
it's obvious
together. Can you guys hear that?
Back in 1999, I was going to college. I read a book, and it had a very impactful story that stuck with me ever since then. In fact, I was going to school to be a dentist. And when I read this book, I actually changed everything that I was doing and realized that I was actually going to school to haul buckets. Now, what I mean by that is this story. Basically, there's this guy. He lives in a village. The village is a couple miles away from the closest water source. And his job basically was to put a yoke on his back, hitched to 2 different buckets, and he'd make this hike every day. He'd fill his buckets up with water, walk back, and every day, all of his inventory was sold out. Everybody wanted what he had. Everybody needed what he had. He had an incredible job security. And if he wanted to make more money, he'd just simply make more trips. He would go back and forth as many times as he could, and every time he went back and forth, he'd make more money. And anyway, that's how he provided for his family. That's how the village got water. Well, another guy sees this and says, man, I want to take advantage of that because that guy's got perfect job security. Everybody needs his product. And so he fashions himself a yoke, gets a couple buckets, and starts making trips the same as this other guy. Just like the other guy, everybody needed his product. He's making a good living. But what he ended up doing is, instead of making multiple trips per day, he would basically make one trip, and then he'd take whatever extra time he had and start building a pipeline. I guess you could say he was working full-time on his job and part-time on his fortune. Well, one man was hauling buckets back and forth, making more money than his friend. He worked day and night and day, first hauling buckets to make sure his family was taken care of, and then working nights and overtime trying to figure out how to build this pipeline, overcoming the concerns that he had to deal with, the rocks in the ground. He spent the time doing that to build this pipe consistently and persistently over time. Well, a few years later, he finally finishes the pipeline, gets it to the village, and eventually turns on a spigot. Now, at this point, everybody in the village can come and get as much water as they want. It's cooler, cleaner, fresher, better than the water he was hauling with buckets, and cheaper. Everybody could get it much more affordably. And he did this. He not only built an actual pipeline that was a pipeline of water, but he also built a financial pipeline, something that would pay him and his family and take care of his needs for the rest of his life. And that's basically what I realized when I was reading this book, going to college. I realized I was going to school to haul buckets. I wasn't building a pipeline, something that would take care of me and allow me to pursue my greater causes and higher purposes in life. I was basically working for money. And so basically what I did from that point on is I changed my career choice And I've always tried to build pipelines over the last decade.
Okay, I'll stop there. I love that video. It's just short and sweet, but it really helps us to understand what we're doing here. Like, we're not just in this business short term to make quick money on little sales. So sometimes it's hard for us to see what we're doing, you know, sort of long term. The people that we're meeting, those little and small tasks that we're doing, each and every customer, each person you encounter, all those people become a part of this organization that you're building, this amazing residual income. Because as those customers and as those prospects turn into either builders or faithful LRPs on your team, that's the residual income that you're creating, right? So it's so important that we kind of change our mindset on our building, not to just, like, who am I going to sell to this month so I can get 3,000 OV and be elite? It's more in between. While you're doing that, who am I going to serve? Who am I going to reach out to? Who am I going to get in front of, plant seeds to get that pipeline going? Because we know, right, building our team is a massive part of our residual income. So I want you guys to think about the kind of people that you want to sell to. Who is it that you would serve best? So some of you may feel really called to work with seniors or with moms or with the young crowd. Maybe it's people in fitness or people who are nutritionists. Like, kind of identify. And I mean, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the only person you sell to, but I find for the most part in my business, I'm drawn to the same kind of people who relate to me, people who understand what I'm doing and what I have to offer for them. So a lot of them are around my age, you know, 30s and 40s. A lot of them are moms, and a lot of them are looking for solutions, natural solutions for their life and their health and for their kids. That's pretty common what I see in my business, and everybody's different. You're going to have your own, like, unique sort of skill sets. So write down the answer to these questions. Who is this person? And, you know, ask her these playful questions. What keeps her up at night? Like, what is she worried about? What is the concerns in her life? What does she do? I'm saying she, I don't know, maybe you're not looking at women. I think most of us, those are our ideal customers, but I know some people on our team do classes with men as well. But I tend to find I sell to women. What does she do? What does she spend her time on? Where does she hang out? And then this last one is a little bit more what you have to offer to her. So what problem are you going to help solve for this person? And so I think in most cases, it will be that they have a goal for their health or a goal for their finances, right? And you're going to be able to help them solve that problem specifically. So these questions are in the Biz Mastery document if you need a little bit more time to go through it. But I want you guys to think about who your ideal client is, because it'll help you to identify a little bit better your niche market and your brand, like the kind of person that you want to become. And if you've ever heard anything about a niche market, we know if you're trying to market something to everybody, it's actually less attractive to the people who most need it from you. So you need to kind of focus in on your brand and focus in what it is that you're good at, what lights you up, what gets you excited about doTERRA, and offer that to them. Branding doesn't have to be fancy logos or matching fonts or any of those fancy graphics. Your branding is what you're good at and what you offer to people. Your brand is you. So really get clear on what that is so that you can better prospect to people. And so, Catherine, when you wrote down what it is that you do, this is what I was thinking. I don't know if that's why you wrote it down, but I think we have to get really clear on what we do. We have to understand and be able to answer without the like, I sell oils and you probably like them. Like, do you have a headache? Like, you don't want to be really awkward about it. You want to be you want to have a prepared answer that you can give without sounding like it's a prepared answer, right? Have a go-to sort of pitch, but like I said, you don't want it to sound like a pitch. You want it to just be like, you know, I have these natural solutions, and I love providing moms and women with natural healing in their home, and I'd love to teach you about it. The goal for an elevator pitch is to have them ask you to tell you more. So you really want, when they ask you what you do and you tell them what you do, for them to be like, oh, how does that work? Right? Because that's your in. That's the way that you're going to be able to actually give them a little bit more insight into what it is that you do. So in the BizMastery document, you'll be able to click on a link to go and see some examples of this. And I love these examples. So what you're going to do is present a problem that happens in the world that you see commonly and that other people would probably think is a pretty common problem, and the solution that you provide them. So here's some of the examples. Well, you know how people deal with side effects when they take prescription drugs? Well, I teach people how to use essential oils as a safer, often more effective alternative. So it's like there's a problem in the world, and I offer them this solution. And I would say you would pitch a little bit more specific to your brand, right? So I typically talk about moms in my elevator pitch and say, like, you know how moms often are looking for more natural options when they become a mom? Well, I help women find those tools. So that would be kind of your pitch. So there's another one here. There's some about money, some about skincare, some about weight loss. It can be anything. Well, you know how a lot of people are concerned about whether or not over-the-counter drugs are really safe? Well, I teach mothers how they can use safe, natural alternatives that work better. So just kind of come up with your own elevator pitch. This will be part of your homework to complete the worksheet and figure out what is the thing that you're going to be able to say to people that makes them go, oh, that's really cool. Tell me more about that. And it's kind of like a 1-minute phrase that you would say, right? The next thing that you're going to want to narrow in on is your story that you present at a class. So this is something that we've got from Kyle Kirschbaum. He talks about this a lot in his trainings. And I love these 7 questions. If you can kind of put these into your business story, then you'll be able to, at the end of your class, when you're talking about the 3 pathways, you'll be able to describe your business story in such a natural way. You start with your product story, your health challenge, the thing that happened in your life that made you think, oh my goodness, these actually work. So whatever it was for you, that's number 1. Describe your health challenge. Or he says, have you ever felt? So for me, I always tell people how I was breastfeeding and I was running out of milk and was desperate for a solution, and that the essential oils provided a solution where literally everything else that I had tried had failed me. And so for them, I'm like, it was just this beautiful moment of, aha, these oils work, that erased my skepticism, right? And so that was the things that I've tried. So I usually will tell them my long list of other things I tried: prescription medications, lactation banana bread, fenugreek supplements, you name it, I was trying it. And a lot of these things were not working as people had promised that they would. And so then number 3 is your sort of, there has to be a better way. It's like, there has to be something that I can do to feed my baby. There has to be something that I can add to my life that's going to make him well fed and sleep better so I can sleep better. So that there has to be a better way is so important, because it shows that you're kind of like at the end of your rope. You're like, okay, I need something here. Number 4 is your skepticism. So I didn't have a lot of skepticism because I was kind of in this moment of, I will try anything. I don't care what it is, just let me try it. But that's, I think, a mom thing. When you're trying to do something for your kids, you're like, bring it on. I'll try it. I'll see if it works. But some of you may have a real skepticism story. And I think people are really drawn to that if they're feeling skeptical themselves, right? So share why you were hesitant to try the oils, what kind of red flags you had going up, for sure, and just lay it out there and see what they say. What was the result? So this is your moment to tell them how the oils worked for you. And then number 6, that you felt empowered. I love this word, and I use that word specifically and intentionally to show them the feeling and confidence that you get when you have a solution that works, right? And then number 7 is sort of your invitation. So if it's simply a product story, your invitation could be to follow up with them and to give them a sample or to try something. If your invitation is to get them to host a class to see that if they can learn more about the oils, you'd put that there. But for me, I lead this number 7 question right into the business. And so I would say something like, as soon as I realized how effective these things were in my life, I knew that there would be other people who would need to have these same easy solutions at their fingertips. And it was just so natural to go into sharing them with my friends and family. Everyone can think of people in their life who have health issues, and everyone wants a solution that works. And when I figured out how easily these things worked, it was a no-brainer to start building this as a business. And when I realized how amazing doTERRA's compensation plan is, and how amazing this business is, and how incredible it is to build this business alongside like-minded, wonderful women, I jumped full in. And you can join at any point in this journey. You can be somebody who uses the oils. You can be somebody who shares casually with friends, or you can be somebody who builds a business like I do. And so you just kind of like include your story with your business pitch, and you'll always share that at a class. Never, never, never leave a class without sharing your business story and inviting them to do the business with you. Because if you get to the end of, a year of building and you're like, I'm not attracting any builders, and I ask you the question, are you inviting people to join this business with you? You'll want to feel like you really actually did that, right? How awful would you feel if you're like, okay, no, I keep forgetting that part. I keep forgetting to tell people about this amazing business. So Catherine talked about online prospecting already, and actually hit all of these points already, which is awesome. So you want to create some sort of follow-up list, and I love the Google Forms to be able to collect email addresses from people. You can get email addresses from vendor shows, at a class if you're doing a prize draw slip, if you're going to do a Facebook ad to get people to subscribe to your newsletter, anything like that. People who are your warm leads, people who are already enrolled, you're going to have all of those emails, right, for follow-ups. Facebook classes are an awesome way to build and expand your market, and I love that Catherine's had success with this too. We've done it quite a bit on our business, on our team. Lindsay created an Essential Oil 101 Facebook class, and she shared it with all of WholeFit, and it was fantastic to kind of have this like starting point. Like, okay, I have all these posts. All I have to do is put them up there and see what happens. And you can edit it. Like if you don't like a certain post, you just make it your own. So for us, it gave us all this like starting point. Okay, here's how I start with Facebook classes. So if you're a bit overwhelmed, copy and paste. Literally just use what Lindsay wrote, use the images she created. Some things you might have to double check because sometimes there's like a month date or something in there. Always, always, always check what's written, but don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel when you do a Facebook class. I do encourage you to make it your own wherever possible, but if you're short on time, the posts are awesome. We also, for our team, created a business builder recruiting Facebook class where we go through just all the cool things about building a doTERRA business. The people who were invited to this kind of class know what it's about. We're not like surprising people with this surprise business opportunity. I always feel like other multi-level marketing companies kind of like kidnap people with a bag over their head and are like, surprise, it's a recruiting class. We don't want to do that to people, not even on Facebook classes. So when we do something like this, they know what they're getting in for, and only interested people would be added. But it's really cool to just teach people about what we do in this biz. What does our life look like? What does our daily tasks look like? What does the pay look like? Real stuff to get people excited about it. Instagram, I have to admit, I'm pretty scattered on doing Instagram. It like goes in waves. Like for a month, I'll be really good at posting things consistently, and then I'll forget about it for a little while. So I would encourage you to kind of pick a social media that really works for you and be really good at that one thing. So maybe Instagram is something that speaks to your heart. If you love pretty images and you want to kind of do it that way, there's so many cool trainings to figure out how to create an Instagram presence. You want to kind of create a brand or a vibe with your page that when people look at it, it doesn't look like chaos, but it looks like you on paper and images. It looks like it has a bit of a flow to it. So when people look at your whole feed, they see this beautiful layout of graphics that go together. And more importantly, that it's not salesy, that it's sharing real life stuff and teaching people actual essential oil education so they can take the tips from your Instagram page and find that it's really useful. So yeah, online is an interesting avenue for building. Some people are really successful online and some people aren't really sure where to go. So I encourage you to ask your upline about it, get trainings. There's so much available today on how to build online. And if this is something that you're passionate about, it's a learned skill. You can learn how to build online. You just have to find the right kind of thing for you that works for you. Okay, so we're coming to an end. It's almost 9:30, 9:25 or so. This is your homework for this week. So I really want you to complete the worksheets in the Biz Mastery. I'll just show you in here. I'll just go to the actual document and then you can take a look and see what those worksheets look like. So one of them is the What You Do worksheet. Apparently my internet is being slow. And then the next one is your, here we go, week 3. So those questions that we went through earlier about who you're going to get connected to are here. And your story is here. Your product/business story is there, but these are your worksheets. So I want you guys to complete these. You can print them or just do them on your computer, however you want, and take a picture of them and post them in the group. What you do, so kind of brainstorm the things that you do. What is your business to you? And then you're going to fill out this worksheet as well. Tell your story. So this is going to go through some of those questions. What was your oil story? What's your, sort of healing experience? How does doTERRA impact your life, your goals, your dreams? So you're going to write those down. Then my favorite part of today's homework is you're going to record a 2 to 4 minute video on however you want. Like if you want to have it as a YouTube video, or if you want to go live, if you're really brave, and do it that way and post it in the group. You're going to post your video to our Facebook group so that we can see it. Just as if you were at the end of a class and you're about to close and you're telling your sort of product first, then business story. So what got you into using doTERRA's products? What got you into building the business, with an invitation at the end. Okay, so post your 2 to 4 minute video. I also want you all to book a Facebook class. So part of your homework is to get a Facebook class on the books, on your calendar, for the month of February. So it has to be scheduled sometime this month. As long as you have it booked, then you can get your points. And then the last one is to watch the Tiffany Pearson video. So it's just in the Biz Mastery document right there. Just click on it and to watch the video and just comment with your favorite thing that she said. It's a 12-minute video. So really easy. Okay, someone's chat just popped up. Let me see what you said. The free Daily Drop app is amazing. Oh, for Instagram posts, totally. I love the Daily Drop. Sometimes I forget to check it so it doesn't update on me. That's a very cool resource. Oh, and somebody's in the middle of a Facebook class right now. Awesome. Oh, so good. All right, well, does anyone have any questions for either me or Catherine, since she's still hanging out with us before we close for the night? on prospecting. Questions about reaching new people?
I'll ask Catherine a question just because I feel like she's here. Let's take advantage of this.
Go for it.
So just sorry, I may have missed the beginning, but how long have you been building?
So I've been building doTERRA now for, I want to say about 2.5 years.
Okay. And what rank are you?
Gold.
And what would be your best advice for someone who's maybe about to hit elite or pushing for premier?
Oh, okay. It's a good one. Let me think about this.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but I just feel like...
No, that's an excellent question. So my best advice would be, sometimes we get to a point in our business, and it really depends what yours looks like right now in terms of how many other people are doing this business with you, or if you're still the sole driver, because even at elite, you could have some very strong sharers on your team, but you might not have any leaders quite emerging yet. So you're still really taking the reins of your business. So my advice for you would be to do these very basic things that you did at the very beginning, but do them even more in a more organized fashion. So making sure that you're utilizing the rank sheets, and really taking a look at your loyalty rewards orders coming in so that you're able to plan for those next ranks, those next, the next rank from if you're going to elite or if you're going to premier, because we know premier, you're kind of having to look at structure. So whether that structure is emerging with leaders or just shares, plan for all of those things. So doing those basics where you're sampling, you're teaching, you're following up, don't lose that stuff. Like you still need to be really doing it even more as you're pushing for those higher ranks. I feel like it wasn't until silver, for me personally, that I had real leaders kind of step in to their positions. So had my elites, because we know for silver rank, you have to have 3 elites for silver. So it wasn't until then where I felt like, I don't know, I don't even know where I was going with that, but where I felt like I didn't have to push so hard, I guess, for those certain things. You're always doing the basics, but your business kind of starts shifting a little bit into leadership roles and positions where you're doing something similar to Yolanda, where you're leading a team or you're helping your team become elite. So it's kind of juggling your time between the basics and stepping into leadership shoes.
Great advice.
Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome. Anyone else have a question for Catherine? You can ask me questions anytime.
Oh, Yolanda, I just wanted to mention something. Something I've been talking with my team a lot too is all about mindset and growing yourself and doing your own personal development. So I guess that goes with Kelly, right? Kelly's question. That's something you also want to be doing while you're growing your team from elite to premier, is growing yourself personally. Preparing for those leadership shoes at those ranks. So reading books. I've got one right here. I'm always reading something, and I'm sure Yolanda is too, but I've got like 3 or 4 books ongoing just to help the skill set that we need in this business and that mindset.
That's massive, right? When we feel like we're running out of people, it's likely that we're also running out of skills and running out of ideas. You just need to kind of teach yourself more and more. I love that.
Yeah.
Any others, guys? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Catherine. I'm so excited that you could hop on and share your magic with us. I feel like your authenticity just shines out of you. So we're just so grateful that you joined us.
You too. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.